Hello, and welcome to the Zombie Al Davis podcast that you probably found either via Twitter at zadpodcast or you found on our Facebook page, Zombie Al Davis podcast. I think, and I guess if you were emailed by a mass random email from Zombie Al Davis podcast at gmail.com, that also could have been an effective way to get the link to the podcast upload site. I'm going to introduce ourselves real quick so that you know who to send your hate towards if you ever ask a question or email. I am Allan. I like sports, I like competition, and I can't do any physical stuff anymore because I choose not to do anything anymore. I'm trying to combine that with a big infatuation with dick jokes, and I also really hate baseball, which is why I'm starting this in May, because baseball is like the sixth best sport in America, right ahead of StarCraft 2. I've been working sports over the last 5 years, so I've seen a lot of football, and it doesn't really matter for fantasy sports because who gives a shit? Fuck. Someone else go. That was bad.
All right, I'm Jarvis. I live in a little shithole town in Wisconsin, not by choice. I
The town isn't a shithole by choice, or you're living there?
The town's a shithole by choice. Jarvis
Yes.
lives there, not by choice.
exactly, and my role here is basically anyone that has any good insights. I'm just gonna knock them down, just because that's all I can do. Really like fantasy football, and that's my background.
Oh, your droid got a text message. You should answer that because you have your phone not on vibrate.
My phone was actually texting me to make a joke about you not doing physical activity, but your mom.
Does physical activity with
Hey,
you.
you
I
shit.
get it. She's single. That's cool. You can pay my tuition bills?
I can figure out how to put this thing on silent. I didn't realize it was going to be one of those podcasts where we're getting strict.
We're really strict about anything here.
Hello, internets. My name is Mike. I'm doing this mainly to meet women. And one thing that I like to do, I enjoy soda and
That's it.
fantasy
Just
football. No, I like fantasy football too. So that was one of the reasons that I wanted to do the talking about the fantasy football.
I guess you should put
Thank
this
you.
link on your Match.com website too.
Oh no! And I wanted to, in case you're interested, please tweet me.
Yeah.
Alan, please stop random emailing me
Yes.
about your podcast. I'm sick of those.
I guess I'll do a brief gloss over today's topics. Ours going to be. How do you say that for multiple? How would you phrase that? Today's topics are going to be. Is
Yep.
that English?
Today's topics include.
Are.
Today's topics include. Yeah, that's a good one.
Include the
today's
following.
Today's topics include the following: the NFL draft and how that affects fantasy football. We're gonna list our favorite drafts, what we thought about the teams that drafted this year, and we have the rankings out for our top 15 quarterbacks, fantasy quarterbacks, that is, to start the year. But first, I think we should talk about some unrelated news. The baby wearing a zebra hoodie getting attacked by a lion. I really wish that the lion actually got the baby. That would have been a lot better.
If you're wondering where to find this link, just go to our Facebook page. You can find it there.
Yeah.
Among
and,
our topics are. You could have started.
NFL
Hey
draft.
guys, here's some topics. ... You wouldn't say the dots though. That's a pause.
It's an ellipses,
Yes, ellipses.
which spells pause.
Whatever, fag.
So, the lion attacking the baby, I knew that had to happen somewhere where everyone's really happy because it occurred in Portland, Oregon. Oregon's really into marijuana, so that makes some sense that everyone's like just smiley and just enjoying life, even though their baby's basically getting attacked by a lion that confused it with a baby zebra. I do like that it was wearing a hoodie though. Like, really, too soon. That was a suspicious-looking baby. And if this news story was in Florida, I think it'd be a lot bigger.
That's a Geraldo baby.
See, it's natural instinct to attack children in hoodies.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
perfectly
That
reasonable.
Very Skittles.
What about Skittles?
Is that a Skittles hoodie baby? The lion had every right to attack it.
Well, the baby was white, so I guess that makes it bad to attack and funny.
It wasn't doing anything wrong then.
Bro, fucking
It
racist lions.
it was just being a baby.
It was sitting there looking at this. I'm actually really impressed that the baby just stared down this giant
Yeah.
cat 50 times its size while it's clawing and biting at its head. through the glass window, not actually clawing and biting at its head, because that would be way too badass for any baby or person.
It's the world that I someday want to live in.
A place where lions roam the streets, attacking babies in hoodies.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
fair.
Neighborhood watch.
Yeah, the neighborhood, they're all wearing uniforms. Hopefully that lion escapes and finishes the job. We can only hope.
The second half.
It's the second half. No,
Hey, the Lions are up
the
with
no
business
regrets. The business half of the attack. I guess you want to go right into the draft recap for best
We
and
should
worst
talk about
drafts?
the Lions.
I guess on that note, we could talk about the Lions. I think they had a better than average draft this year. They got a lot of people to drop to them, and hopefully they can keep Matt Stafford up long enough to give the ball to Megatron, which I think is their game plan. It's just like fuck it, throw it to the Tron.
I have Lions at my top three drafts this year.
Perfect.
Obviously, Riley Rife, good choice. We got despite his T-Rex arms
and his drinking problem,
and
his getting caught by the cops problem.
And, yeah, I think instead of a drinking problem, it's more of a PETA problem. I'm
PETA
assuming that's what made him fall asleep behind the PETA pit.
Yeah, he shouldn't have got extra hummus, you fat fuck. Mike, did you hear that story about Riley Rife?
No, I'm piecing it together bit by bit just by listening to you guys.
It's like a Tarantino movie. You're just gonna hear different parts of it and try to put it together at the end.
He got
Just
drunk.
waiting for Samuel L. Jackson to appear somehow behind a PETA pit. Look at the brains on the Lions.
He got drunk, passed out behind a PETA pit, and apparently he was half naked. And,
The bottom half.
Which
Yeah,
half?
we can only assume the bottom half.
The business half.
Business. And the cops came to wake him up, and he started running. He led eight policemen on a 20-minute foot chase.
It's almost as good as Chris Johnson
Yeah, he's almost get away from cop speed.
running from the cop speed. Riley Rife, congratulations. And then they also got Cordy Glenn from Georgia in the second round. I think that's who they got. I mean,
No, they got Ryan Broyles, wide receiver from
they
Oklahoma.
did get in the second round.
Yep.
Fuck,
This
man. I
isn't
should
going to
have.
be one of those accurate podcasts, is it?
Let me ask the fact checking department.
I might be at the wrong place here. Sorry, internets.
Why don't you ask your fucking smartphone to figure it out for you?
I turned it off. I couldn't figure out how to silence text messages.
So you just stopped on it.
I threw it
You
against
turned it
the
off,
mouse.
right?
Siri, shut up.
You sound like legitimately like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, I did it wrong. I think I actually, for my best drafts, I actually had the Bengals. They had Mohamed Sanu, who got punked in the first round. Someone prank called him to say that the Bengals drafted him, and then 3 rounds later they actually did get him. So I can only imagine how that second phone call went, where someone goes, "Hey, this is Cincinnati Bengals. Fuck you," and then just slams the phone down.
I'm not falling for that again.
Fucking assholes. But yeah, they got him. I think he'll be a good possession receiver on the opposite side of AJ Green. And they got Jay Kirkpatrick, who really fills a team need on defense. They were kind of thin at corner, and after the departure of Jerome Simpson, they really need someone else to get all the weed for the team. And hopefully he can fill that role.
Who out of their draft is going to get arrested first?
Oh, I'm gonna say Kevin Zeitler arrested for
Being drunk at Mifflin?
yes.
Or trespassing. Trespassing, I'm sorry.
No one knows what Mifflin is.
Nobody knows who Matt Flynn is? He was the backup quarterback.
The Matt Flynn block party in Madison, Wisconsin is very famous. And then, yeah, they got Kevin Zeitler in the first round, which was, I think they were trying to get DeCastro, but they traded back, which I guess they didn't want him because he went to the Steelers right before they got a chance. And then they still got a big bulldozing guard to fill up that offensive line. So I think the Bengals did really well. The Patriots getting all defense in the first round with Dante Hightower. And then later on they got Alfonso Denard, I think the 7th round, the cornerback from Nebraska. That's where he went to school. But he dropped because he punched a cop in the face. And apparently teams don't like that as a character issue. But I think on defense, if you find someone with the balls to just punch a cop right in the grill, that's the kind of guy you want playing on your team, man. And I think the Eagles also had a good, probably the best draft of anyone. They got the inside pass rusher they need with Fletcher Cox, and they got Michael Kendricks, outside linebacker from California, who is just a fucking beast. Like,
And
unbelievable
Vinny Curry.
speed. And what?
Vinny Curry.
And Vinny Curry. That's right. He played the end for Marshall.
Yep.
I really like that movie.
I was watching it today. Actually,
I've never seen it.
It's not bad. Matthew McConaughey does not take his shirt off though, so you could be
Spoiler
disappointed
alert:
by
the
that.
plane crashes.
That
What?
movie
Too
probably
soon?
would have sucked if that plane didn't crash.
Yeah, that movie would have been kind of
It
pointless.
would just been like a mediocre 7-6 team. And
Why
then
would I-
That's the end.
Why would I want to watch a Matthew McConaughey movie where he doesn't take off his shirt?
So I guess he probably got some sort of there's got to be something in his contract to make sure that his visible abs are visible.
That's the way I like my abs visible when I'm watching movies.
I like mine invisible.
Invisible abs.
Yes, there's just they're covered.
Just a floating
And-
torso.
We should we should
Go
get we should get Tony Little to market that invisible abs.
He totally would. Jarvis, who do you have for your top drafts? I know you said the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions, and
That's it.
that was pretty much.
Hey, they're a team though. That's good, Ryan.
They are a team in the NFL and they play football. They don't play baseball
Oh,
or StarCraft.
my second one was the Patriots, and I don't like threes, so I'm just gonna stick with two.
Hold on a second.
Is that the bad joke, Mark?
Yeah, that's the bad joke alarm
Son of a bitch! I wasn't even talking.
from Burrito, the deaf pug.
How about you, Mike?
What? Wasn't ready for that. So
No, really. You just talk about the Packers. Fuck it.
I only watched like the first 2 rounds of the draft, and I think that the Packers clearly had the best draft because they addressed some needs on defense.
And
And
I'm a Packer fan.
I really wasn't going to talk about the Packers, but you kind of goaded me into it.
No, we might as well
no,
just
I think-
address the bias, the Midwest bias right now. I am a huge Bears fan, and both of these ass clowns are cheese tards. So if you're ready to hear about Clay Matthews and his giant balls and his hair, I get it. He's got long hair.
I think, in all honesty, though, the team that had the best draft was probably the Redskins because they traded up to get the guy that they need in Heath Schuler. And they covered their ass by in the later rounds drafting Gus Frerotte. In case something doesn't work out, they have that quarterback that might be able to step in and play later. So we'll see how that works out for them. But I also think that it'll be a good compliment to the running game with Clinton Portis.
The part is that's almost exactly what happened in the draft this year. They got their big time quarterback in Robert Griffin III, and then they got Kirk Cousins in the 4th round, and now there's a quarterback controversy. So if Kirk Cousins takes Griffin's spot and goes to the Pro Bowl and then disappears off the face of the earth a few years later, that'd be,
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first.
This podcast.
I think it's gonna be a lot more fun to talk about the worst drafts because there were quite a few in the running. Third from the worst, I'm gonna say Tennessee because they got no tight end help. They've got Zach Brown, who I feel like has just bust written all over him because he's fast and he's not known for being actually good at football. All anyone talked about was how fast he was, and he's soft. Like when those are the 2 words,
Like you've squeezed them.
like you squeeze. He's like a pillow pet that you throw across the room. It comes at you fast, but it just kind of bounces off and you giggle. Like when the second word in your scouting report is soft, that's usually not good for a linebacker.
What if the first word is not?
I guess you got me there. I haven't read the scouting reports where it says not soft then fast, but I think they also missed on Kendall Wright, who's it's good. I think he'll be a good slot receiver, but do you really want to get a slot receiver in the first round when you have no cornerbacks and a mediocre pass rush?
I wish there was a list that would tell you what race everyone is that was drafted, because I'm really curious which team drafted the most Jews.
Schindler's List.
That's just one of many. Schindler's 2012 NFL draft list.
I did not want to play for that team.
All right, so Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee's probably my third worst draft. I think second worst is going to go to it's tough. I'm going to say Jacksonville. They got Andre Branch from Clemson, who is a defensive end, which is, I mean, it kind of fits what they wanted in getting some help at pass rush. But I don't know if anyone else heard this, not being in South Carolina, but in that West Virginia 70-33 beatdown of Clemson, all the West Virginia offensive line guys told reporters after the game that the defensive line said, "Hey, can you guys take it easy on us?" And if you're drafting someone who says, "Can you just go like 3/4 speed on this one for me?" I'd appreciate that. That I don't know how that's going to work out for you. They also got a punter in the 3rd round, which has been a pretty big story. I guess it makes sense though, because Jacksonville's probably going to be punting the ball a whole lot this year with Blaine Gabbert as their quarterback.
I really don't like what Seattle did.
Yeah, they were my worst draft actually. But I'll let you go start up on them, and then I'll rant afterwards.
Yeah, mostly Bruce Irvin and he's 15th in the 1st round.
Yeah,
like he should have been way later, more like 2nd round.
I think what happened is I think San Francisco invited him for a workout, and then the Eagles were like, "Oh, San Francisco invited him for a workout. He must be good. Let's cock block him and take him right now." Though he was on.
You mean the Seahawks? There's a difference between the birds.
Which birds?
You said the Eagles.
Eagles, Seahawks, either way, fuck them. They're in the NFC, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Are we supposed to have an NFC bias?
Yeah, I mean, I think the NFL has an NFC bias because all the NFC teams are good and the AFC is kind of mediocre.
And Russell Wilson, who obviously we're from Wisconsin, we got that bias. But I mean, he's a stud. I think he's going to do well, but I don't understand why they drafted him just after they brought in Matt Flynn, who is going to be a franchise quarterback for forever.
For one game. He's going to go out there and throw 6 touchdowns in the first game and then just say, "Are we done?"
And,
I had to at his block party, though.
Yes, you can all come out and get arrested for public drunkenness.
But I mean, they got Tavarius Jackson as a backup, I'm assuming. So why would they use Russell Wilson?
Yeah, I don't think Wilson fits their scheme either. Their scheme of that being anemic and losing.
No, all right. Here's your Midwest bias coming out. It's bullshit the knocks on Russell Wilson because he is probably, if he gets a chance, I think he can be a serviceable NFL quarterback. Like,
for sure.
The only knock on Russell Wilson is that he's not tall enough. That's it.
Yep.
Like, I fucking literally watched the guy run all over the Big Ten this year, and how much time did he have to learn that playbook? Like, he showed up in July, and all of a sudden he's taking over the offense. I think it's bullshit that teams are like, "Oh, well, he's 5'11", therefore he'll be horrible." So.
Yeah, Drew Brees I just think short, and he did okay, I guess. Saving New Orleans from the flood.
I like short people.
Almost saving. No, I agree with Russell Wilson on that, or about Russell Wilson. But
if that baby was a little bit taller, I think he would have had some more success.
I just don't think he's a good fit in Seattle. I would like to see him brought up under a more veteran quarterback and work his way up.
You want to see him play for the fucking Packers? The Russell Wilson double check. Oh, there's a good dance that hasn't been done a million times. Like the worst, that thing was old before State Farm made it more popular, and it was horrible. Like, I'm so glad that I moved out of Wisconsin before that shit came out.
I was not a fan of the title belt. It got cute when they won the Super Bowl, but like he was doing that shit when they lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Cardinals. And the purpose of a title belt to me is like after you've won a title. So that was the main problem that I had with that was you go from being fucking like 8-8 to we squeaked into the wild card. So here's my title belt that I'm wearing.
It's like the Intercontinental Championship. You still win a belt, man. You didn't win like the heavyweight championship.
You didn't get like the belt, but you got a belt.
The participation belt.
Is it my turn to talk about worst draft?
I know. Yeah. Before you do that, I wish he would have stuck with the Street Fighter Suruken, where he jumps up with and bends the one leg and fist pumps.
That's the Super Mario dance, man.
No, it's Street Fighter Suruken.
No, it's Super Mario.
No, I just YouTubed it, and all these Aaron Rodgers Suruken videos come up.
Those people don't know what they're talking about.
Are we really going to be fact checking with YouTube? Because actually, maybe I am more prepared than I thought.
Fucking YouTube. Like that's how you choose what's true and what isn't. I don't know if you guys seen this video called Loose Change. The Super Bowl was an inside job. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead with your worst team.
The team that I thought had probably the worst draft this year was the Packers, because all they did was draft defense. They didn't address any needs on offense, and
that's what do you fucking need on offense?
Sticking with the theme of I only watched the
Packers
first rounds of the draft, though, the team that had the worst draft was the Miami Dolphins, because now they're fucked. They have to start Ryan Tannehill.
The woefully esoteric Ryan Tannehill starting at quarterback. Yeah.
Luckily, he's reunited with Mike Sherman, so that if it's third and more than 8, we can run a draw play.
Hand it off to Reggie Bush. That's your game plan.
Just hope for a punt so that Reggie Bush can play.
Yeah, they should have.
That's really the only thing he's any good at.
They should have drafted that fucking punter in the 3rd round.
The Falcons drafted the Badgers punter, right? In the 4th round or something. You should never draft a kicker or a punter. Period. If you want to do it in the 7th round, that's cute. But Sebastian Janikowski was taken in the 1st round by the Raiders?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's really put that franchise ahead for the last few years. So that great pick there, and he's arguably the greatest kicker.
Right.
That is one of the greatest kickers in the NFL. But look at what a difference that has made, and the answer is none.
Well, for a team that can't score any goddamn touchdowns, they need a kicker.
I think they should. The NFL punting should just be Kyle Bowler throwing a football from his knees and having Mel Kiper say, "Well, that guy can throw 60 yards. He should go number 1 overall."
I guess I could wait if we talk about favorite draft busts, because I'm sure someone will mention him.
No.
Was it? I think Jarvis, you said your favorite draft bust was
my
Russell.
No, my favorite draft bust is Tony Mandrich from Packers, drafted in '89. He was. If you look on our Facebook page too, there's a Sports Illustrated issue before the draft that states possibly the best.
No, not possibly the best. Offensive line prospect ever.
The best offensive line prospect ever. And this guy's huge. Turns out he was on roids the entire time. He had attitude issues. And after 3 seasons, he was cut.
Well, who got picked behind him, too? Wasn't Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith in that draft?
It was Troy Aikman went number 1. Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders went 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, that was the draft where the Cowboys had all the picks from the Vikings?
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out for them.
Yeah, there's 4 first ballot Hall of Famers, and then Tony Mandrich stuck right in the middle there. I think that's basically been the only Green Bay Packers bust, though.
I think Tony Mandrich wrote a book or something, or did an interview where he was saying he was on so many drugs that he couldn't control his bowel movements. He went and played in what Arena League or the Canadian Football League after he was out of the NFL, and there were literally times where he was shitting himself because he was just so fucked up on drugs.
No, that's a completely different guy.
No,
that was that USC quarterback.
No, I saw it on YouTube.
Maravich.
And I checked it on Wikipedia. But 3 years after, in 1992, SI labeled him as the NFL's incredible bust with a T, not a bus.
No, bus.
No.
Beep beep. He probably became a bus driver.
But he does love Guns N' Roses. He has a tattoo on his arm that the album for Appetite for Destruction.
That's
so you can't
cool.
hate him on it that bad.
That's a little bit, if Ray Caruth would have done that, who's my favorite draft bust, I think it would have helped, improve his public image some. But it's kind of hard to improve your public image after you shoot your pregnant girlfriend and she dies.
And what happened after
Spoiler alert. The baby was stillborn via C-section, which that's kind of cool. You think, like reading the article, it says the baby survived, and then you get kind of an uplift, and then you find out that he was born with cerebral palsy because of being born so premature, and then that kind of brings you back down to earth. So he killed his pregnant girlfriend and gave his baby fucking cerebral palsy. I think that's going to be a hard act to top if you're looking for draft busts.
Yeah, but the Packers could have drafted Barry Sanders.
They could have just put names in a hat and pull one out. They could have drafted Bruce Irvin, and it wouldn't have been that bad.
Here's a fun draft bust: Tim Piaka-Batuka. That's all. I didn't have anything to add to that.
Is that
he played for?
That's a real name, right?
Yeah, no, that is a real name. He played for Michigan, and then he got drafted by the Panthers when they were like a franchise team. And him and Kerry Collins really seemed like world beaters for like a few weeks in 1996.
And then they started playing football, and it all went downhill.
Then the preseason game started.
That's when their career took a dive. Yeah, they had a good offseason, though. After we talk about bust, I can only try and think of positive now, since it's kind of hard to beat Ray Caruth, giving a baby cerebral palsy. I think this year's draft probably it's kind of hard to tell since most of the first round was defense, but you got to think that the most fantasy-worthy player that came out of this draft has got to be Trent Richardson for the Browns, because he's going to get every single touch.
No. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
When we originally talked about draft bust, I thought you meant like this year, predicting who's going to be a draft bust, and Trent Richardson was going to be hands down the person that I picked to be a draft bust, because the running back position is irrelevant in the NFL. Sure, he might be good for like 2 or 3 years. Who in like the modern era? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yep.
Somebody type that out on YouTube for me.
Ellipses.
But I think you have what AP is maybe the one exception to like modern running backs, is the guy that lasts for like many years and is like a fantasy stud every single year. Like, look at what happened to Chris Johnson last year. Look what happened to Peyton Hillis. And fucking to say that Trent Richardson is going to come into this league and dominate for more than a couple of seasons, I think is asinine. Is that a real word?
He doesn't have to dominate for a couple of seasons. He just has to dominate this season.
I
mean, he's got a stacked offensive line.
Question.
And he's got Brandon Weeden handing the ball off to him. Like, they're going to have to give him the ball 40 times a game. Who are they going to throw it to? Greg fucking Little?
Fucking hate Greg Little. He wasn't even on my team last year.
He was on my team,
know, and
I still won.
I kept on telling you to change him every week for someone that wasn't Greg Little, and every week I was right.
Well, enjoy it.
I think
what was your record in our league?
I don't know. We can't pull that shit up anymore. So
yeah, that's
5-9.
Damn it.
The stats are long gone. Unfortunately, we're just gonna have to rely on memory.
I remember that it's 5-9, and your team name was Fantasy Football Point Dumpster, because the guy that auto drafted scored like 150 points against you
every week.
And I think the other, no segue necessary. Nope. The other contributors I think are going to be Alshon Jeffrey at Chicago and Stephen Hill for the Jets. I mean, they're both big end zone type, 5-yard fade route receivers. That'll, those free 6 points from that will really, boost your fantasy scores. I probably won't draft them because I hate rookies and I hate the Bears receivers just naturally. But someone might draft them and benefit from that.
I also like Stephen Hill as a pick. And maybe Nick Toon going to the Saints.
Maybe.
It's tough though with the Saints because there's so many people there to catch the ball with Marquise Colston and Jimmy Graham and Tiny Darren Sproles. So.
But every year they have a couple of guys that come out of nowhere.
Yep.
That put up numbers. But that's why drafting Saints receivers is for fantasy is a bad idea, because you never know who's going to have the 100-yard game. And Drew Brees is a great quarterback because he throws it to whoever's open and not throwing it to Jimmy Graham every single time. Although last year he certainly put up some sick numbers.
Yep, I know that because I got him in the 8th round. Just want to gloat there a little bit.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. So you mentioned it yesterday.
I mention it every day. It's part of what I do. I wake up, brush my teeth, text Jarvis saying, "Hey, I drafted Jimmy Graham in the 8th round," and then I go about my day.
And then I text back, "Hey, you drafted Peyton Hillis in the 2nd round."
So
3rd round.
You must have won fantasy football last year, then, Allan, right?
Yeah, sounds like it. How did that?
I drafted Peyton Hillis in the 3rd round. You got Reggie Wayne in the 3rd
round. I drafted Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And who was your backup, Mike?
I was half just saying that, and I was like, well, there goes all my credibility. My backup, actually, I drafted a really solid backup by the name of Rex Grossman. Or no, Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, Donovan McNabb.
This is how bad I was at quarterback. I dropped Donovan McNabb to pick up Rex Grossman. Fucking just
by a miracle.
Cried until I got Cam Newton from you, Ryan, so that worked out fine.
Yeah, really wish I didn't give you him, by the way.
You should just taken him and just kept him on your bench.
He goes,
Just to
we had a
spite him.
phone conversation, and he goes, yeah, I just put Cam Newton on, picked him up on the waiver wire. This is like fucking week 2 before he'd really like done anything spectacular. And I was like, fuck, like I was really gonna pick that guy up. And I
Wait,
had the higher pick on the waiver wire, and I was like, come on, man, like you owe me a favor.
Yeah.
I like that you said nothing spectacular. I think that first game he had 400 passing
That
yards.
first game he was huge.
Yeah, but compared to like a Matt Flynn kind of game.
Yeah, I guess that was garbage compared to Matt Flynn's 6 touchdown performance against a Lions team with no secondary and Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings on your team.
Luckily, the Lions had a good draft this year.
It's true. I heard that. 6 touchdown block party.
Yes.
Jordy Nelson got a ticket for trespassing in the Lions' end zone.
No one picked Brandon Weaven as their top.
Did anyone put fantasy contributors? Did anyone write down Brandon Whedon?
Oh, I thought we were just dicking around. Are we actually recording? I was saving my good stuff for the podcast.
We might be saving it a little bit longer. So should we just go right into a top quarterback listing?
Yep.
I'd suggest a segue.
Oh,
All right. So yeah, the I got nothing.
Speaking of quarterback ratings,
these are the 15 among the top of them.
He's included in the top 15.
You guys have
Is
to
that
go
what you
first
say?
so I can write down the quarterbacks.
All right, I'll go
right.
first.
Go ahead.
Number 1, Rodgers, obviously.
Oh, that's good. I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Matt Flynn's backup, I think, in Green Bay.
Number 2, Tom Brady. 3, Breeze. 4, Stafford. 5, Eli. 6, Cam Newton. 7, Mike Vick. 8, Tony Romo, which I don't like putting them there, but 9, Rivers. 10, Matt Ryan. 11, Roethlisberger. 12, Cutler. 13, Peyton. 14, Matt Schwab. 15, Andy Dalton. And fuck you, Andy Dalton.
Mine's pretty similar, except
We're not going to pick apart.
well, I'm going to.
Do you want
That's what I'm about to
to
do.
go first? We can forget about how stupid Ryan's rankings are first.
Well, I'm going to say that I have Scam Newton ranked ahead of Eli, actually, because people are worried about the sophomore slump, but, I mean, Scam's had 3 years of professional football now, if you include his last year at Auburn.
The joke's funnier if you just move on.
Yeah, you can't wait for the laughter.
I'm waiting for the laugh track. I'm going to put one in there.
Just make your dog bark.
I also have Matt Shaw listed a little bit higher than 14. I think that he's got Arian Foster in the running game, so teams can't really focus on stopping Matt Shaw. And then they've got Andre Johnson coming back.
I did forget about that.
After he had a whole year full of hamstring aids. And I'm surprised you have Matt Ryan listed at number 10, because Matt Ryan is basically the exact same as Joe Flacco. It's like Joe Flacco's the evil twin that just puts up, over the course of the year, they'll put up like the same numbers, but Flacco will put up 2 points in one game and then 28 in the other.
You know,
the one game you're playing against them, all of a sudden they'll fucking put up 30. And then when they're on your team, they're just 6s across the board.
You know Flacco's the evil twin too, because like in movies when there's always an evil twin, he has like a goatee, except Flacco has
And a
a unibrow.
It's like the goatee of the forehead.
Unibrow.
The evil unibrow. Yes.
Flacco.
But see, I think they're gonna be platooning, or I should say, quarterback by committee between Matt Schwab and T.J. Yates.
And that's definitely going to hurt his status, having a
They're gonna
third stringer on the roster.
platoon.
Yeah, platooning's a baseball thing. So.
Hey, I like baseball.
Do you?
Yeah.
Fuck
You guys want to talk about baseball for a little while?
Okay, Peter King, let's talk about baseball during our football discussion.
I had a really good cappuccino the other day while I was watching a baseball game.
Oh my god. That's worth a whole other separate section, just talking about how much I hate Peter King.
Well, yeah, because our format's too strict. Like, we won't be able to deviate from that.
It's just my time
To spend
constraints.
time talking about Peter King. So we haven't time budgeted for an aside.
Mike, how about your top quarterbacks?
All right, well, I've only got 14 written down. If anyone can think of a 15th starting quarterback, I'd really like to know. I think without a doubt, Can I count from 15 to 1? I think that would be...
Yeah, let's do that. A countdown would be more,
it's
more
so
interesting.
good. Did neither of you guys have either RG3 or Andrew Luck listed as your top 15 quarterbacks?
Nope.
No.
Why?
Because look at the shitstorm that Andrew Luck wandered into. Like, he's got 2 rookie tight ends, and then Reggie Wayne, who's been in the league for 45 years, and then no defense to help him out.
And do you know Peyton Manning's gone?
Yeah, Peyton Manning's not going to be there to tutor him. He's going to be too busy tutoring Brock Osweiler in Denver, who they'll be cheering for to start after 3 games.
Okay. I'm not arguing with you. I was just curious why.
Griffin, you can make a case because he'll probably get some rushing yards and some rushing touchdowns, which will really jack his points up.
Did either of you honestly think that Cam Newton was going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback last year, going into the year?
No.
Nope.
So...
No one did. If anyone did, you're a fucking liar.
Number 15, there's apparently a quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. Last name of Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, that guy that got the huge contract extension and then sucked.
I guess he's like I'm starting with 15, Allan.
Are you talking about baseball again?
No. This guy.
Yes, the pitcher for the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, number 14. I really should have ranked these.
You're just trying to list 15 quarterbacks in a row.
I got Matt Flynn as number 14.
What a fucking homer pick.
What? Okay, so if you list the top 15 quarterbacks, that means that you're listing a quarterback out of every 2 NFL teams. So there's a 1 in 2 chance that Flynn's going to be on that list. I realize there's 32 teams, but statistically...
Well, if you don't count Brandon Weeden or Ryan Tannehill, there's 30.
So I've got G3 listed as number 13. I think he could actually be a lot higher than that. And just because he does bring that added dimension of being able to run the ball. And sometimes it doesn't win you games, but in a fantasy league, it definitely can score some points for you. I've got Joe Flacco / Matt Ryan listed as number 12.
That's why you only had 14.
Well, you should. Yeah, I think you could rank them together because they are the same person.
It was just Matt Ryan, but I was listening to you talk.
Siamese twins joined at the eyebrow that had a mostly successful surgery to separate them.
Number 11, Eli Manning. I think it's funny that Eli still doesn't get enough credit from like those of us that actually watch football, even though he's won the Super Bowl. Twice. Yeah, but like
he's beat the Patriots both times.
I think you could take like a serious NFL fan and ask him like how many Super Bowls Eli Manning won, and they'd have to like think for a minute. Like, fuck, did he really win 2?
Yeah. Was he a backup for one of those?
Right. So
yeah, he's got more Super Bowls than Peyton, which is I think that's just fucking awesome. The NFL just trolled the shit out of him.
Fuck you and your stupid forehead. Number 10, Phillip Rivers. Number 9, Matt Schaub. Number 8, Tony Romo. 7, Stafford. I think I'd probably fuck that up. He should be higher. 6, Peyton Manning. I don't know. I'm just, with the exception of last year, Peyton Manning has never had a bad fantasy season.
Yeah, but who's he got to throw to?
With the exception of
Demarius Thomas and Eric Decker.
Dude, fucking
Eric Decker.
You know what?
If you can catch passes from Tebow, you can catch passes from Peyton.
Yeah, but they didn't catch passes from Tebow.
They caught like 1 or 2 a game for 70 yards each.
Years from now, when we're all hanging out, knitting, and listening to our old podcast, you guys are going to be like, remember when Mike accurately called that Peyton Manning was going to be the 6th best fantasy quarterback in 2012? And you're all going to say no because you're senile and old and you don't remember shit. Number 5.
I hope I don't remember it.
Yeah, what number was he? 6?
6. 6. Number 5, Tommy Brady. I guess.
Wow.
Down at 5?
They're. I guess he's the quarterback in New England, and they throw on occasion. So I don't know. I'm not really familiar with this guy, but I've heard that he's got potential.
He was a
6th round pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he won't be any good. Nobody out of Michigan is.
I'll take Spurgeon Wynn ahead of him any day.
What's Colt McCoy up to these days?
Number 3 on my list, actually.
He's when you're getting replaced by Brandon Whedon, you know your career is not looking too bright.
Number 4 on my list, Michael Vick. Let's not forget that the guy that did beat all of us in our fantasy football league last year had Michael Vick as his starting quarterback. Apparently,
therefore he's good.
On accident, because he auto-drafted him round 1.
Apparently, I didn't write down a 3, so we're just gonna skip to number 2. Oh no, I did. Drew Brees, number 3. Cam Newton, number 2. And I have the homer pick, Tim Tebow as number 1.
Yes.
I mean Aaron Rodgers. That's a pretty good list for not having anyone written down, and you guys were talking about quarterbacks. I had to figure out how to spell
anything Stafford. I had to figure out how to spell Brady.
Curtis
Painter.
Painter.
Curtis Painter.
How do you spell Curtis Painter?
Is he still in the league, or is he like in the XFL or something?
Ooh, we should do an XFL fantasy podcast.
XFL. I don't think there is an XFL anymore, so it'd be a very short podcast.
Yeah, you know what? If it got popular enough, they might start the league up again.
Does Vince McMahon have enough money to soak into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
He does. Well, that answers it.
It's out on YouTube.
I think.
Well, you didn't want me to add to that. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. I think. I don't know. I'm kind of distracted. I'm watching the Kate Upton Cat Daddy video, the 5-minute version of the 30-second dance, and just keep playing it over and over.
I wish you would tweet me. Have we put that video on our page or whatever for
Cat Daddy?
Yeah.
I call it Fap Daddy.
That is the Fap Daddy.
You have a fucking
and Daddy knows best.
lion eating a zebra baby, and you don't have any Kate Upton videos.
Nope, it's going out there right now.
Okay. With it, we really.
Right, you get on that.
Maybe we should fuck
that one up. Should we just start over?
Yeah, can we just start over?
I'm Jarvis.
My name is Mike.
It's gonna be 45 minutes of Kate Upton.
So this went well.
Same thing looped over and over. Oh,
if you were to do a draft the best podcast from the initial podcast,
we would be undrafted free agents.
I would give I'd say Allan gets a C, Ryan gets a C, and then the Packers
get both an A and a D. I actually did get a question to answer, which I'm excited for because it's a Bears question. So you guys can go jerk off to the Fap Daddy for a minute. Actually, I should tell the story. The other day, I was talking to Jarvis about that porn star that got busted for being a teacher. Someone found out about it, and he asked what her name was.
It's illegal to be a teacher?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
What were they
It's illegal to be a teacher. She was not teaching sex ed, so who gives a shit? But yeah, she got caught teaching, and I told Jarvis to look up her porn name and investigate, and he says she's not that hot, and then he disappears for 25 minutes and then comes back to finish the rest of the conversation. So I can only imagine how that went.
He would have only disappeared for 5 minutes.
She wasn't that hot, which
it took 25 minutes.
But you got me all caught up on porn, so then I had to finish that.
Yeah, you can't. It's like Pringles. You can't just
Exactly.
start and then
Once you pop,
have one or two chips and then just stop.
Fun doesn't stop.
No, that's when it does stop.
Yeah, once you pop, you stop. So my Bears question was regarding the Bears' defense of the future, since Brian Urlacher can't play forever, which I disagree. I think he's going to play for another 10 years in the league. How do the Bears look after that? And then what the fuck is a Shane McClellan? Is the second part of that question. I guess I'll start first saying that the middle linebacker, as we talked about earlier, is kind of like the running back of the defense. Like, they used to be probably the most important part of any defense. The captain, the head of the admiral, whatever you want to call it. But
what do they call it in baseball?
Center fielder. Catcher. We call it the catcher.
we'll call him the catcher of the defense because the center fielder would be the safety. But I think we've seen lately that the pass rush is really becoming the most important part of any defense, and I think that Shane McClellan pick reflects that because every team is going to need to start pressuring the quarterback very well to have any success. And Shane McClellan being as fast as he is, as big as he is, as quick as he is, he had unbelievable combine numbers as far as straight ahead speed and side to side lateral capabilities. I think that people kind of discredit him saying that he's only 258 pounds, but Justin Tuck's 260 pounds, and he's been okay as a defensive end. So I think McClellan will work out well as long as he plays with a high motor, physical, doesn't stop, doesn't quit, and gets out there and kicks some quarterback ass.
Talking? And
he's got
still talking about the Bears?
Oh. Yeah.
She said high motor. And
is
he white then?
He is white, and he's playing opposite side of that's why the Packers were interested in him.
Maybe if Brian Urlacher's mom would stop dying, he could stay there.
I had a Brian Urlacher's mom, Joe. Why? Oh, damn it! That is.
His mom died?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was last year. That was a while ago. It's old news.
She's super dead, dude.
She's wicked dead,
bro.
She's so dead.
Speaking of dead, did you see the MMA fight, the UFC on Fox last night with Jim Miller and Nate Diaz?
It was at a roller derby.
You really?
Yeah, it's a true story. They wear skirts that actually go up above their ass, so you can just. Well, at any rate, I'm sure that you watching half naked men was really interesting too.
Oh yeah, the half naked men joke. First off, they're more than half naked. Second off, they are trying to beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, the old half
naked
men joke. Typical.
the
Yeah, we're gonna fucking Bob Arum. 90-year-old guy saying, "Oh, it's just old guys rolling around in panties. It's a sport for the homosexuals." Yeah, okay. I would love to see one of those homosexuals beat the shit out of Bob.
And now last night I tried to find some place in Eau Claire that they would show the Mayweather Cotto fight, and you can't find it anywhere.
Well, they don't have
TVs
Wild
there.
Wings in Eau Claire.
So they do that. It's free UFC on Fox, and nobody cares about boxing anymore.
Yeah, no one cares about Mayweather
I do,
anymore.
but
I get it.
just because I hate him
racist
so much.
and he's rich.
They just have NASCAR
Yeah.
previews on.
Fantasy
They're just
NASCAR stuff.
get ready for the Sprint Cup, fucking whatever they call it. We don't have time for live sports. NASCAR is going to start in 12 hours.
Showing replays of the Kentucky Derby.
But anyways, yeah, Jim Miller is the guy that I had to pick when we're just going to not have a segue.
If you had a half-hour
Jim
show,
Miller-
you can replay the Kentucky Derby 15 times. Like the whole thing.
If they would alternate the Kentucky Derby and the Cat Daddy, I think that would have had much higher ratings than the Mayweather Pacquiao fight.
You don't have to show a highlight of the
Mayweather-Cotto
Kentucky
fight.
Derby. You can just show the race and the time that you show a highlight.
Is there a top 10 Kentucky Derby moment? There's the start, the finish, and then just 8 random spots.
But not top 10.
We're talking about men fighting.
You were talking about men fighting. Well, I was trying to talk about men fighting, and you were talking about horses running. You want to talk about stuff that's weird?
I was thinking about how the Kentucky Derby relates to baseball, and just how baseball is.
Yeah, because no one gives a shit about it except for one day a year.
If the Kentucky
That's
Derby
not true. People never care about baseball.
the Kentucky Derby were only in Hawaii, and it might be. I don't know where it is at.
It's in Kentucky.
It's the Kentucky fucking Derby.
It's not like they don't relocate it like the Pro Bowl.
It's an undisclosed location each year.
The Pro Bowl's at the same place every year,
No, they've
too.
had it. They had it in Miami once.
Those are the two worst examples of things that move around. The Super Bowl moves around. The World Series moves
Mifflin.
around. Mifflin moves around. All of these are bad.
All right, so
I'm gonna have a hell of a time.
what do you want to talk about the fight for? What do you want to say?
I want to talk about the fight because I fucking was all ready to watch Jim Miller win because he walks out to
Yeah,
some Cretans
PCR.
and he gets his ass kicked in 2 rounds.
That was really rooting for him just
Although I
because of that, and he has a red goatee, just like I have red facial hair and a brown.
They actually in baseball they have walk-up music, and like when a guy's going to the plate, they play like creeps, if you will, or just any sort of song. They actually get to pick it. It's probably similar to this fighting that you're speaking of.
Probably similar, except there's no beatdowns or blood.
Sometimes when Pedro Martinez and Don Zimmer get into it, there's a little bit of blood. Just a big fat fucking bald head bleeding on the third baseline.
Do they play for the Dolphins?
What?
No, they play for the Pro Bowl. They move around every year. You can't even keep track of them. God,
I
this
hope
is
there's
fucking
one
shitty.
guy somewhere that's listening to this podcast and is like, God, I really need some good fantasy football advice.
If someone actually listens to this for fantasy football advice, you are looking in the wrong fucking spot. Like, there's a million places you could go.
Here's the best fantasy football advice you can have, that guy. Go to fucking Google and type in best fantasy football players. That's how we did all our research. And on YouTube.
And then mostly looking at Wikipedia and last year's results.
All right, so I suppose we gotta record some kind of ending to this.
How do we want to end it?
We should have talked about that.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about.
We can talk about
He's
it now.
gonna sing a
Let's get it
song.
out.
We can
What
sing
if,
cat.
you know what? Like a lot of really good shows have like a theme song.
Yeah, we're working on that. My buddy Min.
Okay, well,
We're
like
not good,
we
though,
should sing like a song or something.
I'm just gonna play the Cat Daddy.
No, we can't do that. Oh, it's already on YouTube, so fuck it.
Who's gonna catch us? You think the music police are listening to this?
That
right
would
now?
be a horrible way to go to jail.
If they made it all the way through to catch that.
We'd be arrested for littering if there was a police in charge of podcasts.
What are you in for? Well, my friends and I had this podcast, and I was playing some music, and turns out that was copyrighted, so I got raped and thrown in jail, in that order.
And then raped again. It's like you had to play football at no Penn
Yeah,
State
it's
jokes.
not-
We shouldn't. Those are dumb.
Too soon.
Penn State jokes are the college football version of Michael Vick dog murder
And
jokes.
Ben Rapist Burger jokes. All of which are
Yes.
outlawed, or not outlawed, but banned from here, if you will.
All right, so we're gonna try and wrap it up here. All right, I'm glad that we wrapped it up before.
This was good. I thought we ended strong.
I thought we ended strong. We ended with a fucking whimper. We came in with a whimper. We ended with a whimper.
The whole filler was just whimper.
Puking. It was just puking and shitting.
Great job, everybody.
Why was your dog
like
not
he-
barking the entire time?
I was too busy puking and shitting while listening to this. So, if you like puking and shitting, why don't you listen to us, ZAD Podcast on Twitter, Zombie L. Davis Podcast on Facebook, Zombie L. Davis Podcast at Gmail. Send hate mail. Send a bomb over Gmail. They won't trace
Send
it
a
back
bomb
to you.
to
It's not like
Kadai.
Google's investigating everything you're doing.
It's not like Google's gonna spy on you or anything.